Yay.
Hi, everybody.
Whoa.
That was smooth. If it worked, we're live. Okay, yeah. Hey. What's up, guys?
Happening. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Hey, what hat is that you're wearing, Sean? I've never seen that hat before.
This is a hat that I bought off of the street a year ago from a guy who was selling stuff outside of Madison Square Garden.
What's it say?
Timeless masterpiece.
Oh, you are.
You are.
No, I mean this is the name of his brand.
Oh.
This isn't about me. Yeah.
So he wasn't branding you? All right.
No, I don't think so. But this guy stopped me and he was like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I said, "Sean." And he was like, "My name's Sean." And immediately I thought, this guy's probably lying.
Yeah.
But he was so like legitimately surprised.
Yeah.
But I was also like, maybe his name really is Sean. I could probably Google it and find out. I think Ralph is out walking a dog. Is that right? Is that right?
Can you see?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I was on a different screen. Man, that puppy's growing up so quick.
It is.
Yeah.
They grow up so quick.
Go up so fast. She came out here to use the bathroom, and now she's not even going. She's chewing on a damn stick.
You sound like a disappointed father. Like, my son, he's taking improv classes.
Ralph,
It's so disappointing.
How cold is it there, Ralph?
It's pretty damn cold, man. My sister, we're maybe a couple of days drive, maybe 2-3 days drive from Austin, Texas, maybe a week drive, whatever.
Whoa.
My sister, well, we're still in Florida.
Yeah.
But my sister is in Austin right now. She said that at 5 inches of snow, she's not gonna have running water for like another 2 weeks.
Jeez, 2 weeks.
Her water
That's
tank
crazy.
froze and burst.
Yeah, they're not. The infrastructure in Texas is just crazy right now with all this snow. They didn't expect any of this.
Yeah, man, it went crazy. So we've been the whole time we've been here. People are like, where are you going next? Austin. We're going to Austin. Austin's not going to be ready for anybody to visit there for at least 2 weeks.
Wow.
So we don't even know what we're doing. We're just at when Anya's best friend happens to live here in Mary Esther, Florida. She was in the Air Force.
It's snowing in Florida?
No, it's not snowing in Florida, but it might as well be. It could. That's how cold it is.
How cold is it?
It's pretty cold. Like right now it's warm. So it's been much colder than this. Right now I'm wearing a t-shirt, a sweater, and a little coat and a hat, and this is not enough. I'm freezing.
Temperatures by how much clothes you're wearing.
Yeah.
If you could do it again, what would you do differently?
It's cold. Huh?
If you could do it again, what would you do differently?
My whole life?
No, just today's outfit.
Oh, I'd be wearing pants. I'm just wearing my pants and a bigger coat. I'd be wearing another coat. I'd be wearing another coat on top of this coat.
He's either freezing or he's coming down from cocaine. the way he's dancing around.
Either way, it's about that snow.
Ralph, there's already 1.5 foot of snow on the ground, and it's snowing right now where I am, and it's 15 degrees.
Damn. Has it been snowing
hopefully
in
it
New York?
balances out that global warming.
What's
Has
that?
it been snowing in New York?
Yeah, so I'm in New York City and I went out earlier and I could have put on boots, but I didn't. I just put on regular shoes and I had no issues.
But it's snowing or no?
No, not snowing.
When was the last time you saw some snow?
Like 2 days ago, I think.
Okay. How frequently has it been snowing the last 2 months? Like two or three times, or like once a week?
It's it's cold enough that I have gloves with me at all times, but I'm
Wow.
usually not wearing the gloves.
Wow.
You know?
Lex,
Hey, when was the last time? When was the last time, Sean, you saw somebody turn a corner in New York City and get blown by the wind?
Oh.
I mean, not fall over, but like a good enough where it was, hey.
Yeah. I mean, probably over the summer, you know?
The way you're framing it, Lex, you're making it sound like Sean is attracted to people being blown over. Like, if you saw somebody get blown over, you'd be like, hey, now.
I've never seen Sean laugh harder than when he saw this old woman get blown 3 feet. She's an old, fragile woman, too. It wasn't funny, but Sean just took such delight in the pain of this woman.
You're lying.
It was horrible.
Lex, you're lying. That never happened.
No.
Yes.
You're lying.
I'm lying.
This is what I want to say. Somebody challenged me the other day, and they were like, "If your grandma fell down the stairs, if your grandma who you love fell down the stairs, would you laugh?" And I'd be like, "Yes." Laughter is involuntary. I would laugh, and then I'd be like, "Oh my god," you know what I mean? But I don't think you can control, or you might have the impulse to laugh and catch it before it comes out. But that's the pride.
That's why I hinted at, like, if it was a woman who fell over, that might be too obvious. But that's why I was making her old and fragile, because I know Sean, he would have to make sure she was okay and that she was laughing before he could take delight in somebody else's. I think that's what a normal human does, Ralph, is wait to make sure there's no injury.
No, but if the impulse to laugh shows up and you just catch it, that's not the same as not laughing. That's not the same.
I'm usually the guy in the video in the background going, "Oh snap!"
It also depends on the fall itself. Like if it's a little wobble, and then they like kind of lean and catch themselves on a rail, that might be funny.
Yes.
But if somebody just like flips over and smashes their head, like
you hear that sound when head hits concrete. Ooh.
I know a guy who saw somebody fall and hit their head on a curb and die here in New York.
Yeah,
that was me, Sean.
No,
that was me.
No,
I've been lying a lot lately.
Yeah, you're full of lies today. It's not fun.
I don't know what. See, I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like I've seen horrible things, and my first impulse was to laugh, and that has nothing to do with whether or not I'm worried if the person is okay or want to help them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because it's folly, and it's like, whoa, that's insane.
I had a teacher in grade school who said, I have a bad habit of laughing when I hear bad news, but it's because of like fear. It's like
it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
That's why we laugh at somebody saying something horrible, because you just don't even know what to do with it, and you're like, oh. I laugh at that all the time.
Jason, do you laugh at inappropriate moments, or are you mostly appropriate with your laughter?
It's also healing.
Jason?
Definitely inappropriate. Definitely inappropriate. Yeah.
Shit. Well,
that's how me and Jay became friends. When I really needed attention, I was massively inappropriate all the time.
And I was like,
he encouraged me.
I did.
That's what friends do. Oh man.
Is the dog on a leash right now or no?
No, our friends here have a backyard. So it's fenced off. It's a big fenced off backyard.
Yeah.
Nice.
Whoa. That's a nice fence.
Yeah.
Mary Esther, Florida. Mary Esther.
Is that in the Panhandle area?
What is the Panhandle? Is that the Gulf?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not far from
It's the part that hangs out like a panhandle.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. It's near there. It's
Oklahoma.
Right near there. It's right near there. It's really like right next to Pensacola.
Oh, okay. Now I know where you are.
I feel like I'm supposed to know where you are, because it's like Pensacola in my I've heard it enough where I feel like I should know it on the map, like Georgia, the country. But I'm pretty certain I'm going to lose on both of those bets.
I think Pensacola is right near Georgia, right? Is that what we just said?
Ish. I mean, it's up at the top of the state.
Yeah.
You could go a little higher. This thing's a little higher, but yeah. And I think what's above us actually might be Alabama, not Georgia. But I might be wrong about that.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. In Panama City, or Panama Beach is right near the border, I think, of Alabama.
Man, I have no idea.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know things. I don't know about anything until I get to it.
We're so uninformed about everything.
We should know because we look at so many maps too on this show.
Well, we don't look at maps because we know. We look at maps because we don't know.
I know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We've looked at enough maps where we should know.
Maps are big, though.
One of my favorite things that you guys did, I wasn't part of the 24-hour marathon so much this time, but you guys had the conversation about what was it?
Short spaces, the
narrow.
Yeah, that's it.
Narrow parts of states. That was such a funny conversation, guys.
We could probably expand that out to like narrow parts of countries.
Oh, was it? It wasn't narrow. It was
narrow.
What's the other girth?
No, it was narrow.
Because when Jason goes, he says, "Long Island's all width," and something like that. It's all length.
Right.
I think that's what it was, length. And the way, Sean, you reacted, like, oh my God, somebody needs to tell somebody about it, like it was a problem.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. But that was so funny. That was such a stoner conversation.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Let's recount other good conversations we've had on the show.
Sure.
We have a guest coming up, and I don't think that guest is going to be until like 45 after.
Oh, all right.
And then we have another guest after that. So
that's a half hour.
Up here at the top, we can interview Masha if we want. Let's see what she's got going on.
Yeah, I was thinking conversations that we've never had, Ralph. I'm going to throw you out a question. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
Holy shit!
Three sisters.
I have two. I have two younger sisters.
Two younger sisters?
Yeah. Three sisters is a Chekhov play.
Do you have anything you want to share about either one of them?
Oh yeah, one of them in fucking Austin right now with no water, running water.
Oh man.
The other one is in Port Charlotte, Florida, down south where my mom's houses are. She's been looking after the houses for like 3 years. And they're both badass. They're both awesome. They're the smart ones in the family. And they're responsible, real ones. I'm a boy made of wood. I'm a marionette.
All right.
What type of wood?
Balsa.
Balsa, really?
That's the only wood
I figured
name
you as
I know.
like a koa or something like that.
A koa?
Yeah.
I'll be
Nice
a koa.
Brazilian walnut, maybe?
Brazilian walnut. Watch it. Yeah. I'm a Brazilian walnut. I don't know if I know how many siblings everybody else has.
One sister.
One sister. Okay, I did know
She's
that.
great.
How about you?
Yeah.
How about you?
I met her and she's super
Two
fun.
older or younger brothers, Jason?
I have one of each. I'm the middle
wow.
child.
Holy shit.
Do you feel like the middle child?
All the time.
Oh man.
What is a classic middle child like?
Needy, right?
No, they always feel left out.
Oh yeah,
Left out. Yeah.
Is that what they were feeling? I felt like they were needy. I'm not a middle child.
I come from a loud house, so and I'm the quietest. I think I'm the quietest one out of everybody. So
Sure,
I
you are.
like peace and quiet, and I like.
Yes.
So I tend to gravitate like my gravitational rotation around the family is much greater. I would say.
I think isn't Tim your younger brother is closer to my age than I am to you. I think.
Yeah. Huh?
But I definitely get along with you way easier because you're chill. And Tim was a little psycho.
Hey
I don't
Tim,
think
if
my-
you watching.
I
supposedly
wonder if my
the
sister. Oh yeah, go ahead.
supposedly the youngest child is the overachiever in the family.
The
Supposedly,
younger child?
the youngest child is always the overachiever.
Oh.
Usually,
You know why? This is why.
yeah,
Because you got trailblazers in front of you.
it's
And
true.
they're making it easier. And they're learning lessons from your parents. And your parents are learning lessons to be better teachers.
It's true.
So it's not overachiever. They just had a pathway burned out for them a little bit easier.
Well,
That's what
I mean,
I
they also have more drive because it is easier for them. You know,
Or maybe maybe perceived competition with the older sibling.
I think that's true too. I mean, I haven't read about this in years, but I have read.
Yeah.
don't
I know this. Go ahead, Jay. What?
I was just gonna say I don't know, because when I was in high school, like every time I went up like a grade, like the teachers would be like, "Oh, you're a cuteness, huh?"
Oh,
And you're like, "Yeah."
well,
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's what they always. That's what every teacher says for every person who has older siblings.
I guess maybe.
Yeah.
They'd say what? What would they say?
Like,
Oh.
you're one of those Wiccans kids. They always say
Oh.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know
Okay.
you're kind.
Yeah.
I know how to I know how to deal with you.
Right.
But I think it's usually joking in a cool way.
Yeah.
They would say that to me. They're like, because I had a lot of cousins coming up, so they'd be like, "Oh, you're one of those Jean Pierre kids," and I'd be like,
Very good.
I wonder if my middle sister would say she was always left out. Me and my sisters did everything together. We were always together. I don't know.
How many years apart are you all?
We're all approximately 3 years apart.
Oh yeah, me and my brothers are all 4 years apart.
Wow. Yeah. Me and my sisters are, for the most part, really, really close. My youngest sister doesn't complain. My middle sister does complain about middle sister stuff. The youngest, I don't hear her really complain about that stuff. I never felt any of that stuff in my house. But my sisters will say that I was the favorite, but I was my mom's favorite. I definitely wasn't my dad's favorite. Although my dad likes me a lot, but he likes the girls better. Did you guys feel favorites in your house? Let's get into this gritty shit.
I had such
Go ahead.
I had such a big family that they would rotate. That's what my mom was on, and she'd just be like, "Oh, you guys, the only person I want to deal with this month is Lydia." You know, she'd say stuff like that. You know.
Wow. You have
I
a
think
sister named Lydia.
My
Yeah, sister
parents,
named Lydia.
my parents, like all parents, say they don't play favorites, but I know I'm their favorite.
Mm.
Wow.
We all do. We all do. I've seen it. Well, you're also, I mean, even if it's not true or it is, you are the most easygoing out of all of them. Like, I remember being a kid going to your house and the fights that I hear in the background of what's going on. Because you're like, but I mean, you guys all love each other too. It wasn't like, that was what was trippy to see you guys, you know, to me, that was so foreign to see your family yell at each other the way they did. And you and your siblings talking back to your parents. Oh my God. That was one of the most
We're all
entertaining things.
Functionally dysfunctional.
I was like, I would get whooped if I even thought that way. Saturday.
No free thinking.
Hell no.
Oh,
Sometimes I gotta be honest, I
in a
wanted to be
Caribbean household.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I don't know. I'm just saying shit.
I found, Lex, going over to your house, I found the dynamic in your house, like the all female, because I come from a mostly male dynamic, like family.
Yep.
The all female dynamic was like tripped me out. Like seeing your sisters leave like knives in the doors of your other sisters' seat, like why'd you throw them and everything.
That's
You're
because
like,
at a certain point in our life, it was all My Little Ponies until they started getting their periods. and then hormones ran rampant in the household. It was like a Voltron of menstruation.
You had
Wow.
like 4 sisters,
A
right? 4 sisters.
Voltron.
Five.
menstruation.
I got 5 sisters. 5 sisters, and they all. It was intense sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would it be wrong to call that a bloodtron?
Every tiger was a red tiger. You know, there was no green or blue or black. It was just red.
Red
But,
tiger.
you know, it's sibling shit. You know, so I shouldn't blame it on that. It's easy to joke. They were all my sisters are all good people. They're all good-hearted, but it was definitely sometimes when it was just insanity. You know.
Oh,
I was thinking,
speaking of sisters, my sister got me this
Oh,
what does
see?
it say? Oh, nice.
premium. I haven't smoked out of it yet, but I've had coffee out of it.
Premium roast cinnamon toast.
It's a mug that has a bowl on it. You can smoke weed out of here.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Christmas.
It's funny that I was like wondering about the engineering, and then you just said Christmas.
I
Understood.
The only thing I can tell you about the engineering is that there is a hole in the handle here, and then there's a hole in the handle here. That's all I can tell you.
What in the world?
Yeah.
What the world?
It's a tube. It's, you know,
I don't understand physics.
that's it. It works like this.
Wait. You said that's all you could tell him.
Yes.
You
Oh,
said.
sorry. Yeah.
What?
Sorry.
Do not explain anymore. That's all you can tell him.
Yeah.
Contractually obligated.
You guys see me throw a stick for the dog? That's how I play with
saw.
the dog.
I saw.
Does Masha like to fetch?
She doesn't really quite understand fetch, but the concept. If she understood the concept, I think she would like it. Yes, she's not quite there yet to know the game.
Hey,
You know,
so-
I'm more attracted to the idea of fetch than the application in real life.
Yeah.
The true joys of fetch is not as exciting to me, but the idea of it, sure. It's like a 3-way. Every 3 ways always sound good on paper, but
My God,
once it becomes reality,
I don't know what I could do to describe to you how far I've been from a 3-way my entire life. I've been closer to flying without the aid of machines than a 3-way.
So maybe
Fair enough.
if somebody wants to have a 3-way, they should be on the exact opposite point of the globe than that Ralph is.
Yeah. That's me. That's me. That's me. I'll do it.
Oh my God, no! This is going all wrong. I'm also not interested, but the prospect has not remotely ever appeared before. Like when I used to host karaoke, all the karaoke hosts before me, like karaoke hosts, it's not crazy, but you can get laid.
Yeah.
I think it did happen to me 3 times. I had 3 one-night stands in the 7 years that I hosted, and they were all in within 2 months of each other.
Oh.
I think within 2 or 3 months. But then it never happened, and never remotely again. Or maybe I got close at some point, but it was, and I was a really good host, but it was just like I don't know. It's like it's too much dad energy, I think.
Some women like that energy.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've never gone this way, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say a private story I've never sold publicly, but I might have mentioned it to. First time I had a 3-way. I was in New York doing improv at the Magnet. We did a show, and I got off stage and hanging out at Molly Wee's, and I'm flirting with a girl that I knew, and we started making out. And we had always been flirty for a while, but then we started making out. And then we were like, I went to the bathroom. And when I went into the bathroom, another girl who was flirting with me said to this girl, she's like, hey, what are you doing with Lex? And she's like, I'm going to take him home and fuck him. And she's like, can I come? and this was happening while I was in the bathroom. So when I came out to the bathroom and they're together and they're touching each other, I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "We're leaving," and I'm like, we, and they're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I can't believe this is happening," and I was like, "Really?" It was, and then it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying for most of it. I remember, and this is my favorite line from it, was when they were going to go down on me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't aroused yet. I wasn't hard yet. And one of the girls was like, "Are you not circumcised?" And I was like, "No, I'm just terrified." Because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I was doing. And that's something I got off my chest. Thank you for letting me share.
Well, we have to, sometimes we have to be pushed into the lake to learn how to swim instead of jumping in,
Yeah, I think I drowned that night.
I guess that's
Great
the lesson.
analogy. And great way to drown.
Yeah. Well,
All right. Well, that was a palate cleanser, apparently.
Yeah.
I needed to roll that one around in my head for a second.
Well, we can. I have a new thing to talk about real quick, and because before we have our guest come on. So last week, Ralph didn't even remember that we talked about this, but last week we talked about doing a thing where we call up people's parents and tell them, like, "Hey, this is just a nice phone call to let you know that you should be proud of your son or daughter,"
Yeah.
And so I did it for one of our biggest fans, and it was like scary but ultimately very like satisfying and joyful.
That's great. You want to tell us more? Or is that it?
Just it.
What was that, Ralph?
I'm telling Masha to sit so I can pick her up.
Oh.
I had my question was, you heard me? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was he gave me her phone number and he said it was
You called the mom?
Yeah. And she was very scared at the beginning. She said this is a scary phone call. But even though I reassured her, I was like, "Hey, I'm just doing something out of the kindness of my heart," kind of thing. But and by the end, she was like smiling and she thanked me. And then our fan said that she called him smiling. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. See, now we're smiling. I'm smiling.
So
Yeah.
you did a video? Did you do a video chat or did you?
A phone call.
Oh wow.
But I have.
Sean, I'm proud of you.
Well,
Man.
I have. Well, look at this. Is that let me
How much
share
money
this.
did you make?
$20.
Is that real?
Yeah, but if you go on our website. Well, here, look. You can. Here it is. Out of the blue gratitude phone calls.
Like it.
Working title. You can get a $5 thing where we try to call once, and if they don't answer, we leave a message. But then the deluxe option is we try 3 times to have a live conversation with them.
Nice.
This is on our website. People can get this from us.
Can they pick who calls?
No.
No?
Why?
I don't know. Maybe they have like a favorite like stoner.
No.
I'm proud of you that you got to do it, Sean. I'm excited that we're doing this because I would love it if I get an opportunity to tell somebody that I know about their.
Well, I mean, it's also not going to be people we know. I think it's a lot of it.
Oh, that's right. All right.
Yeah.
Can I lie then too?
Why are you lying? Why do you want to lie?
I don't know. I've been lying a lot lately.
Lex, I will do this for your dad.
Wow.
No, he maybe needs to hear this.
I don't know.
Jay,
I know his father, and I don't know. I think he might tell you something you need to know too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you talk to my dad, don't get too close to a body of water. He might try to dunk you. He might try to baptize you.
Well, I'm on a phone call, but I'm gonna try to do one. I'm gonna try to do one now.
Oh, cool.
But I'm because it is a private, powerful thing. I'm not gonna have my microphone on in case they call.
Okay.
You'll know that I'm on the phone, and then I'll come back
Yeah.
and,
Do we
While
leave
that's happening,
messages?
well, if they don't answer,
Yeah. All right.
but I'm going to try it and see how this one goes.
All right.
And then I'll come back and talk about it.
right now my girlfriend is eating a second pot brownie.
So talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm giving you guys a topic.
How was the first pot brownie? What did it do to you?
I had one already. It's nice. It's not. I'm not too nervous about her eating a second piece.
What did you? Are these like store-bought pot brownies or homemade pot brownies?
No, these are store bought. There's no way you'd be able to eat a second one of a pot brownie I make. That shit'll put you back a week.
Oh shit! Are they potent?
It'll make you question existential stuff.
You should make some brownies with that.
It went to voicemail. I'll try back later.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go back outside.
I like it. How many times? So this is when you're going to try 3 times?
Yeah, I'll try 2 times today, and then I'll try once tomorrow if I don't get a hold of them today.
You could leave a short message. Maybe if it's a cell phone, you leave a short message telling you what your intent is, so they recognize the number next time they'll answer.
Maybe, yeah.
What's
Just
a
a
joke?
thought.
Yeah.
What's an appropriate joke message you could leave? I always like that Jerry Seinfeld bit where he's like, everybody's telling you to leave your name and number and in a brief message. He's like, who doesn't know this? Who's calling somebody and going, this is a man, goodbye?
Yeah.
Not sure. She might need to go back out.
Ralph, who's our first guest?
Our first guest is a gentleman named Baxter Wordsworth, an MC. I don't want to give too much about him because he's going to talk about himself and learn about him together. But he's he's a cool dude. Hey, go ahead.
Have you met people on the road that you now are like friends and connected with?
That's a good question. We met some comics in Charleston that we'll probably get in contact with again. There were some really great comics out there.
Yeah.
And let me think. Come on, Doug. You need to go out again? I don't speak Spanish. I'm not sure. Trying to think of if there's anybody else. Not really. We definitely met some interesting characters, but I don't know if we met anybody that we're gonna stay in touch with yet. But we might. We might.
Oh, we have like comments. Oh, Brian says problem is most people don't answer numbers they don't know. But I did it once and somebody did answer. But that's why we call 3 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
All 3 times is good.
Well, I say leave a short message next time as to what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just because I know myself, I wouldn't answer. Even if they keep calling, I'm just going to ignore the number until I hear a message.
My father answers every call from any number.
That's what I do.
How do
you know it's not Steven Spielberg?
That's old school. It's old school.
How do you know it's not Steven Spielberg? I never got that. I'm always like, this could be the best phone call of my life. I need to pick this up.
I say if they don't leave a message, if they're not leaving a message, then they're just trying to sell me something.
Yeah, usually it's just the state pharmacy, as they like to call it. Some guy in an Indian voice saying, "Hey, this is the state pharmacy," and wanting to sell me like Viagra or something like that.
I never get those.
Oh, or it's a bill collector.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's when I stopped answering my phone, when the bills started calling.
They don't know what they've done. They don't know what kind of havoc they wreaked on the American.
What kind of phone call do you think you would receive? What kind of phone call do you think it would have to be for you to get it, then just hang up and then throw your phone into the ocean?
Oh man, it would have to be really bad news.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Bad
yeah.
news? What if it's you know what? I'm going to challenge you to think of a good news that would make you do that.
Hey, you just won the lottery.
Hey, you're gonna be an official cast member of SNL. Hey, we're gonna give you your own sketch show on this television network. Or hey, we want you to star in this Shakespeare production at this big festival.
And so you would throw your phone into the ocean and just walk away from your life after that?
Oh, walk away from my life? Oh no, not that part. But one of those things might make me throw my phone in the ocean. If it was like a big director and I'm doing it at like the public theater or something, yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck? George C. Wolfe is directing.
George C.
You get a phone call and it says, "This phone will self-destruct in the next 12 seconds."
I'd put it in my pants. I'd put it in
Toss
my
that
pants,
baby.
man. I want to talk. We only got about 10 minutes, but man, this theater Pit East closing. It's breaking my heart, man. I know the Pit's not closing altogether, but that really sucks.
What part of it is surviving?
The Loft, as well as Pioneers. So the
Okay.
original Pit, the small Pit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They're
I
going
wonder how
back
the
to
Magnet's doing.
So
They're going back.
if people
They're
who
going
are
back to the original look.
if people who are watching don't know what's going on, is that over the summer the UCB closed here in New York?
Upright
You know,
Citizens
the
Brigade,
biggest improv theater here in the city.
Yep.
And then the Pit just closed their second theater space, but their original one on 24th is still there, which doesn't mean anything for now because it's
They could
still
lose that one too.
Can't do anything. You can't do any shows or anything.
But they're teaching classes online still, yeah, and it's sad, but they will stick around somehow in some form, I'm sure.
That place is just a home for me, man. The Pit was like, the Pit was pretty much I moved back to New York in 2007. By 8 or 9 at the latest, probably by 2008, that had already become like my home, and it never stopped being that till last year. Just always there.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably been at the Pit at least twice a month. Every month I've been in New York for the last probably 13, 14 years.
I met you there.
Yeah. Wow.
I
don't remember how we met.
I met you at Pioneers, but I mean, which is the bar that's connected to the fam. Yeah.
Really? You didn't meet coaching our team?
No, I met you at Pioneers and we had a discussion about Shakespeare. I remember.
What?
Yeah. And comedy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why am I retroactively embarrassed about whatever I might have said?
I don't know. I think
become friends. Did you guys become friends before you saw a performance?
Yeah, we just met at the Pioneers bar.
No, I'd seen you perform plenty of times before we spoke, for sure.
I don't know about that.
No, yeah, because I'd been watching you perform probably since the original Pit.
Maybe. Well, the first time we had a discussion was at Pioneers, and it was about comedy and Shakespeare. I don't remember what we said, but I remember we both were like agreeing with what the other person was saying. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's good. Do you remember how you first met Jason and Lex?
Well, I met Lex through the Magnet Theater. We were put on a team together.
You know what, though? Actually, Sean, I was thinking about this when I found out the Pit closed. I think that's where I met you, or at least definitely saw you perform first. Going there. I never performed regularly at the Pit, but I did do some stuff. Like somebody convinced me to go do what are the 3-on-3 matches that they had. It was like a Tuesday night or something like that. But I saw you playing with, I think, Bob Acevedo and Rocco.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, and it was really fun. I already kind of knew Bob, or at least saw him at the UCB. And then, I saw you. Yeah. I saw you performing. You were funny. You're enough for me to remember you.
Hey, all right. Memorable.
I wonder if anybody has like some sort of scale or way of doing the numbers to see how actually far. I don't even know what I even mean by this, but how far improv spread through New York in that period? Like,
as to like people, maybe, right? Like people
Yeah.
it affected.
how many people it affected? How many lives it touched? How many people came to one of the theaters more than 5 times?
Yeah, yeah. So not just people who participated, but just was a seed
Yeah,
and
went to see a
recognized.
show, but like went a couple times. Like, man, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere for me.
I know, and I don't know how it was after I left, but I do know doing some sold out shows at UCB and Magnet when there was just sitting room on the audience stage. On the stage, that was fire. It
Man,
was so fun and very cool and underground and hip. It was one of those times, like in hindsight, it was like, man, that was different. It was a scene.
it was a hot time, man. I remember. Yeah, dude, it's something else, and we may not see something like that again for a while, but I think it'll come back again someday. But
I'll
it'll
tell
be
you.
like,
Yeah. No, I'll just say it's one of those, I don't know if we mentioned on this show before or just me talking to other people, but, as in life with like a forest, right? Things that don't, the strong branch, and I'm not saying it's weak. I'm not saying that, just ill timing or it's passive. New things will grow up. And hopefully the best thing is I hope it just improves. The people who fall off, maybe who weren't doing something right, will learn from past mistakes, or the people who this venture failed but still have this goal to make a theater or to perform as comics, right? A lot of stand-up comics aren't going to make it through. There's people who are getting real jobs and, not real jobs. This is a real job. And that's the craziness, but you have to get it, but there's going to be opportunity for new people, that kind of stuff. It's like sadly sad and also beautifully life, right?
Yeah. It's so wild. I was listening to another podcast show, the Centralia podcast, and they were talking to Joe Bill of Bass Prov.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how, like, you just start doing improv because it's fun and it's your hobby, but at some point you have to admit, oh, this is my life.
Right.
I've dedicated my life to, because I spend the most time doing this. And yeah, it's so wild.
Yes.
That path. Yeah. Well,
It was interesting when they were all humming, all 3 of those theaters in the Chelsea area. It was an interesting, fun time. A lot of creative people, a lot of really interesting creative people.
There was
the comedy that was happening too.
There was one night. There was one night over a decade ago, 12 years ago, where every theater, UCB, Pitt, and Magnet had their holiday party on the same night.
Yes.
And I went to all 3 of them, and it was just like an exciting, like,
yeah, dude.
It felt like a hooray, like every time I walked in.
Wow. Yeah. It's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool to have that, and like, forgive me my romanticism, but I always think that's cool to have that in New York. Like, you can have that in other places where you go to 3 different bars and 3 different that in many different towns and cities in the world. But to have that in New York, to go to the 3 top places of something, and like each place you walk into, you have some energy, you have a community there.
The sheer talent that was in each of those rooms, going from just some of the funniest people on the planet in each room, and teachers. They're like of not just improv but life, right? I mean, it's and creativity, man. It's cool.
Hey guys, here's Baxter.
Woo!
I'll let Baxter in.
Yeah.
Everyone watching at home, give it up for Baxter Words.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only ever been to the Pit in Chapel Hill. I've never been to the Pit in New York City.
Holy moly.
Yeah. And
there's an analogy that I have for that, and it's not quite forming. I don't know how to.
Ralph asked me how I met Jason earlier, and it was in Raleigh. Lex and I went down to do a show at Goodnights Comedy Club, and then that's when we met. That's when I met Jason.
Oh, Jason, you were living there at that time,
Yeah.
and you were involved with the Pit Chapel Hill.
No. He just he's just a kid I grew up with.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So okay, you weren't involved with the Pit, but you were involved with another improv.
No, he went to the Pit. He went to the Pit when me and Sean wanted to go to the Pit, and we introduced him to the shit that we were doing. You know,
Lex, you've always been more of a Magnet guy, right?
I started at the UCB, and I was on the Harold. I was on the Harold team same time. I was the first. I think it was me and Beth Cartier were the first people to be on a Harold team and Megawatt team at the same time. Like we were doing that, but it was there was weirdly at the time, at least on the UCB side of it, it felt at least on my end of it political. There was like a lot of little, the Magnet was looked down upon, I think, at the time. Because it was the little brother or whatever. And I think I got, I don't know, it was a little funky, but I was really happy to be, I think it made me a better player. And now people recognize that. But like, I think at the time UCB was so focused on game, and Magnet had this amazing amount of like rejects who are doing character work and really longer, I think somewhat. So I think UCB sometimes they get to the funny quicker, but it's just a different style, right? And I got to play both of them at a really high end. It was really fun.
Hey,
you're coming in on some nerd talk.
Hey, Baxter, yeah, what's up?
Hey, Sean, what's going on? It's a little awkward. I feel like we wore the same outfit.
Oh yeah.
We were even like leading the same way. I was like, this is awkward.
If we ever meet, we should trade shirts.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm always down for a new lumberjack shirt. No, I'm aware that the news of the Pit closing. My girlfriend frequents it there pretty regularly.
Mm-hmm.
She was on a team called the Janes that rocked the Pit often.
I think my girlfriend did a show with them once.
With the Janes?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
So.
Those women, they like to travel in circles. I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
It's so interesting because we're talking about like, New York had like a big three of improv, and you're part of the EOW, the end of the week.
Right.
I guess it's more of like an organization. Yeah, it had like tournaments and
institutions. Some would say
institutions.
So wait,
that's a better way to put it.
What's the third? So I know the People's Improv Theater. I know UCB. What would be the third in the big three?
The Magnet.
Oh, I'm not as familiar with that one.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it went. It was like
the Janes got to rock the Magnet someday when it opens.
I'm pretty sure they would.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have probably.
Maybe.
But so there, from what I know, like as far as like freestyling and battles and hip hop, I know there was EOW, and I feel like there was like 2 or 3 other sort of analogous institutions.
Well, the very first one, like Lyricist Lounge, they're like the most, I guess, well known of like collectives coming out of New York City. Then there was like a New Yorican sort of scene, which was helmed by Rocky Presents, who he had 2 shows. It's Words, and I forget the other one, which are still going, I believe. And I think they started the week before EOW started, but they were a monthly and EOW was as a weekly. So for the longest time, there was like a discrepancy on who was the longest running hip hop open mic in New York City. Wow. So EOW, the caveat was always we were the longest running weekly hip hop open mic in New York City.
Okay, hip hop open
mic. And I haven't been I host it. So I'm Baxter. I host End of the Week these days, but I wasn't hosting it from when it started. It started in the year 2000, and it kept going weekly until like about 2016 or some shit like that. Some incredible, amazing number. Like every Sunday, never missed a Sunday. During blackouts, during snowstorms, 9/11 happened, and motherfuckers went out there and were freestyling in front of the building because it wasn't open. Like it was just, that's how dedicated people were to like rapping on a Sunday. It was amazing.
That first of all, if you guys make a documentary, which you should, it should be called Rapping on a Sunday.
Yeah. There's enough footage out there to make a documentary. The only issue is, and I don't know if anybody's ever been part of any scene, you kind of understand this, like who takes the footage and who owns the footage becomes
Sure.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a mission to find these people and collect all of it and, you know, archive all of it. I know there's a brother, one of the hosts of Rocky Presents, one of the old hosts, has like tons and tons of footage of you know, their events, but it's been a big discrepancy that he doesn't want to like he's like, this is my personal footage, this isn't for like documentaries or things like that. So I know there's some people who feel ways about that, but
Can I share a
Not
quick
wrong.
weird documentary story? This is
Please.
like adjacent, but when I first moved to New York, I lived in the East Village with a very interesting, like, retired jazz singer roommate, and she
Mhm.
took me to a friend's documentary screening about the cleaning up of Times Square, right,
Mhm.
and the loss of like the old gritty Times Square, you know, and the documentary began with shots of what it used to be, you know, like prostitutes and drug use, and
Yeah.
drug dealers and whatever.
The
And then-
flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it ended with like shots of the Disney store and stuff like that. But there was, in both halves of the documentary, they got the same guy walking around. In the beginning, it was like he's like, "Hey, I'm a New York City public school teacher, and I'm just looking for prostitutes," or something like that. And it was like kind of like shocking. And then we saw him afterwards during the Disney thing, and
Was he still looking for prostitutes?
I don't know, or I think maybe it was like the first time we met him, he was there looking for prostitutes, and the second time we met him, he
was
didn't
buying
talk about
M&Ms.
prostitutes. He didn't talk about prostitutes at all. He was talking about the problem with the New York City school system, and he shared that he was a teacher. So it was a reveal
Okay.
of
So
who he.
I was about to say, to start that you're a teacher and to finish with I'm looking for prostitutes is a very bold.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, he was just not looking for prostitutes. He was
But this
just a guy
guy,
that became a
but this
teacher.
guy had no clue he was talking to the same filmmaker.
Right.
5 years apart or something.
Holy
like
shit!
And he's there. He's like, and this is my wife. She used to be a prostitute. It's
Yeah,
like
right.
a whole overarching story.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, what if it ends that he's a prostitute looking for school teachers?
that.
I need to get back in school, guys.
Yeah.
After I finish turning these tricks, I need to get my bachelor's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so serendipitous. It would have been even greater if they had him there speaking at the documentary. If he was like, and we brought him up, and he's like,
Right.
This might
yeah,
be
he has
a,
a question and answer after.
he's like, did you ever find that prostitute? He was like, yes.
I was searching for one special one. This is an interesting. Well, to me, how many scenes in your life? I'm fascinated with scenes. Like, to me, like when there's like a group of something special, you know, you can feel something special happening. You may not really know it at the time, but you're in something and it's moving.
Mhm.
It's exciting. Like, I know. Like, for example, I went to Savannah College of Art and Design. When I was there was a lot of like really great hip hop artists. There was a hip hop night. It was like a hot kind of, there was things moving around.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, we were just talking about the last 15 years of improv in New York City. Like, we were like moving around in that. Have you ever, what are the scenes? Can it just be even things we talked about? But have you been part of scenes in your life that you're like, man, somebody should make a documentary about this?
I mean, all of them. It's New York City, right? And it's
Yeah.
the craziest part of it is like the Venn diagram of it all, right? So it's like
Mm.
I'm the kind of person that like I don't stay like I go to if there's an event I go to it. Like I don't care if it's hip hop, if it's something else. I don't like I'm not. There's a lot of people who are very have an allegiance to a specific event. They're like, this is the event that I go to.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Is there a microphone there? Are there people like rapping or you know, having a good time? I'll go. But like, there's so many people who don't do that. And it creates these weird Venn diagrams of like, oh, this person will go here and here, but they don't go here. Or this person will go here and here, but they don't go here. But you know, it's New York City, so that happens. Like I've been to the Pit, I've been to UCB, I've never been to what's the other one, the Magnet. Right, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even aware of it, and it's like it's only because I didn't cross paths with the right person to invite me to that, you know. But I've been I've had friends who've had comedy sets at UCB East. I've had friends who had improv shows at the Loft and things like that. And that's how I end up there. They're like, come check me out. And I'm like, yes, I will. You know?
Speaking of scenes, you know what the first scene was that we were all involved with? It was our families.
Holy shit.
Like growing up, that was a scene.
Well, yes
There
and no.
was a scene.
For me, that was a scene I had to get away from. I was raised out in Queens, like Cambria Heights, Queens. I don't, guys, if you know where that is, but that's like the last town before it becomes Long Island.
Baxter, I'm from Ohio. You're talking about Queens, like.
But I'll
like,
tell you
I don't know
this
if you've ever heard of Queens.
I tell you this, but I feel like it's better when you're from like outside of New York, right? Because then you can like, I'm gonna leave Ohio and go to New York, right?
Sometimes.
Like I'm still in New York. I'm just in a part of New York that nobody comes to or talks about. Well, that's a lie. They talk about it, but they just don't come to it. You know. I had to like.
But why did you want to get away? Was it your actual family, or was it just the neighborhood? Was
Just
bad?
ain't shit happening. Ain't shit happening out there in Queens. Like there's like Queens is a weird place because they act like everything is happening there. Like they walk around like, yo, Queens, yeah. Sorry, my part of Queens. There's parts of Queens that the train does go to and people do go to, but it's like ain't shit happening out there. Like there wasn't like no shows. There wasn't any like lit open mics. If there is an open mic, it's like me and my 3 friends who I grew up with. So it's like I've heard this joke before. So it's like it wasn't until I started getting on the train and traveling an hour, you know what I'm saying, to go to Lower Manhattan that I started like seeing like, oh shit, there's like a huge, like everybody's out here. And that's the beauty of living in New York is like everything is happening. Like whatever you think is happening anywhere else in the world is also happening in New York in the side or someplace else, you know?
You know,
And once
the difference between Brooklyn and Queens, you can hear it in the way natives talk about like rap stars that came out of both places. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like Brooklyn, and then it's like Queens.
But see, the funny thing is like the neighborhood I come from, even though it's like so far removed from everything, so many rappers come from that neighborhood. Tribe Called Quest, LL Cool J, 50 Cent, Run DMC.
Oh, so you're near Jamaica. Oh, okay.
But see, people say Jamaica because nobody knows the towns, right? Like Cambria Heights is all the way out there. Like if I go south from where I live is Linden, and that's where Tribe Called Quest from. If I go east, it's Farmers Boulevard, and that's LL Cool J. If I go north, it's Hollis, and that's Run DMC, Ja Rule, 50 Cent, and all of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's this very small part of Queens that produced so many like rappers, but even they like left to go like, you know, be who they are. Like Tribe Called Quest didn't start until Q-Tip went to whatever that school is that is at the bottom of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Like a business high school, I think.
It was some like his mother didn't want him to go to Andrew Jackson, which is the Zone School, which is the school that I went to. It's also the school that 50. It's also the school that 50 Cent went to. It was one of the worst schools in New York City. There was a heroin ring found in the basement one year. So Q-Tip's mom was like, nah. So she had him zoned out, and then he went to a different school, and that's where he met the Jungle Brothers, and that's how Tribe Called Quest started. You know what I'm saying?
I think he went there, otherwise he would have met the Junkie Brothers.
Right? You know?
Hey, different band,
right? It would have been a different
influential
music.
group.
So, what was your path then, Bax, from that neighborhood to where you are now? Have you ever lived outside of New York?
No, never lived. I've traveled a good bit, but never stayed for any time more than like a little over a week any place. But I would go to an open mic. I met who would become my girlfriend at one of these open mics. She was also a rapper. Then we got an apartment in Harlem, and that's kind of how I like got out of Queens and then never looked back.
Wow.
But then I've lived in every borough since then, except Staten Island, which I don't plan on living in. But I lived in the Bronx, I lived in Harlem, I lived in Washington Heights, I lived in Brooklyn, Harlem and Brooklyn being my favorites.
Yeah.
And that open mic was end of the week, sorry, which I used to just go to. Like I didn't. So I guess I should tell you guys what end of the week is if you don't know. It's this open mic. It got started in the Lower East Side in the year 2000. Since then, it has become first the longest running weekly hip hop open mic in New York City, but also it opened up a few chapters in a couple of countries. So first it was France, then I think it was France and London. Currently today it has over a dozen chapters in countries around the world, including Uganda and China and things like that.
Wow.
Once a year, so then we created this competition called the MC Challenge. It's a 5-round competition in which MCs, it's like an Olympic style thing. Each round is a thing they have
Regional?
to do. Yes, but it's become worldwide. Every year we get together, we have a world finals of this competition. Last year it was supposed to be in New York City. Obviously that didn't happen. The year before that it was in Belgium. The year before that it was in Paris. The year before that it was in Prague. The year before that it was Switzerland, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is with MCs from around the world. This is like such a phenomenal thing that like I don't know why we are not famous for it yet. It's just one of those things that's like people just haven't like caught up on it, but it is phenomenal. I've been to the ones in Paris, Switzerland, and Prague.
Damn.
All fucking amazing.
Where else in the U.S. is it? Is it anywhere else in the U.S.?
So that's the funny thing. Like it's one of the, because like nobody's getting paid for this, so it's all kind of done out of like the love of the music and the love of the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like if the scene isn't there to support it, it kind of doesn't work out. We've tried to have one, I think, in Philadelphia. We tried to have one in the West Coast, but the West Coast one got a little muddy with people kind of like trying to charge people to rap and shit like that. So it's like that never works out, you know? But there's one in Montreal and there's one in New York City. Those are the only two on the continent.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But then there's a shit ton of them like around the world.
Yeah. I just posted the link in the Facebook chat in case people are watching it or wanting to know more.
Sounds so dope.
And then since the fucking pandemic started, we have transitioned to the Zoom world where we have a 24-hour Zoom that goes on and we have like a bunch of shows and we do the competition there every once in a while.
24-hour Zoom. Damn.
Yes.
Does that reset every 8 hours? We've done it. Oh.
I don't know. I don't. So we, one of the people that work with us is James. He's like the CEO of End of the Week, but he's like also a tech guy. So he just had like, I don't know how he set it up, but at any time during your day, you could log into the EO Zoom and it's going and there'll be either people in there just chilling or there'll be like a show going on.
Wow.
Precious Gorgeous has been in the EO Zoom several times. He's been, we reviewed his music on our First Listens program. He's joined us for our open mic. He's featured in our open mic as well, you know.
I can't tell you what a thrill it is because like I think right when I first moved to New York, like most of my time in New York has been just being broke. And so I was here, I think you guys used to be at the Pyramid Club.
Yeah, that was where we were for the longest.
And like I would always hear about that, right? When probably like, let me see, I was probably in New York for about 2 years before I met Mandela. So before and after I met Mandela.
When did you move to New York?
Well, I'm from here, but I left when I was 11 and then moved back 2007. So that whole time, you know, you would hear about EO Dub and the Pyramid Club, but then I always felt like maybe it cost to get in or something.
It did, but like not like $5-7. But
I mean, that was like everything I had. I
right,
used to
right,
live
right,
on
right.
$5 or $7 for a week.
He doesn't even remember how much.
Yeah.
I actually been to that show. I didn't, you know, like I'm not a rapper, but
yeah,
I just stumbled in and actually stuck around because it was dope.
Yeah, makes sense. I
Now
mean,
that
that's how a lot of people
at the Pyramid Club.
Yeah, but there was also a couple other shows at the Pyramid Club. If there was a lot of gangster activity, that probably wasn't us. But
no, I know. I'm for sure.
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
Amazing. Yeah, it was such a big thing. So like, you know, 10 years later when I got to like play my records for you guys, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy that I'm, you know, able to play it's just kind of I wonder, I've had like a couple of these like what's a full circle experiences where you go from like you're young and you're like to being able to like work in that environment or participate in, to being invited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, I ended up hosting the show. That was one of those moments for me. I used to just go there and stare at it from and like if you get like, I don't know how into hip hop you guys are, right? Like, but like the people that would come to this show when I would just go are like some of the like Immortal Technique used to just show up. Homeboy Sandman used to just show up. Iron Solomon used to Breeze Everflowing, and these are like rappers, and these were the people that would like come, and I'd be like looking at them do it. So to like end up hosting the show is like, that's pretty. I did pretty all right for myself.
Awesome.
You know what it's like. This is a very dumb analogy, but it's like, have you ever been able to open the door on a bus? Like
No.
pull that lever. It's like fun.
I believe it. I believe it because a lot of bus drivers have like a god complex. I don't know if you've ever gotten on a bus and didn't have like the exact change and have to like barter with your life. You're like, please, bus driver.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a city bus. It was like a bus that somebody rented. You know what I mean? But it was still that fun experience of like pulling that lever and seeing the bus doors open.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
You never think you'd be able to do that.
Like bored.
Yeah. Or operating a freight elevator. It's also very, very fun.
Both great analogies, Sean.
I feel like I have done
Need
that.
the horn on
A semi?
On a semi, yeah.
I've never done that. I've milked a cow once when I was a kid.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've never done either of those things.
I mean, it was all right. It was underwhelming.
How do you think the cow feels about it today? He's like, that kid was okay.
Yeah.
What if that cow thinks about you from time to time?
Like
Not
that was.
that
I
sort
feel
of,
like
inappropriate way.
they
Just
both
like, man, that
grown-
was nice.
He's like, that was the best milking I've ever had.
They both grown a lot. You know, they both grown a lot. They learned a lot about each other and themselves, so they're probably in a good place now.
Yeah.
To come back together. What was that journey like, Baxter? That from like just being a kid showing up to getting to host. What?
I mean, so it's dope, but it's also kind of like it was undeliberate, you know. Like, I'm a problem solver, so like when I see something that I know I can like fix, or I feel that I can make it better, it's almost like compulsiveness for me to do it. So what happened was I just showed up one week. So EOW, it had like its highlight years, and then it kind of fell off for a little bit. And there was a point in time where like not many people were coming, and it was like, you know, like things goes, like it peaks and valleys.
Mhm.
So I showed up on one night, and there wasn't a lot going on. But I knew the hosts that were hosting it at that time. My brother Majesty, who passed away, rest in peace. AP and Jess James. And AP was about to go on tour, and he was like, "Do you want to sub in for me while I'm on tour? Do you want to like host while I'm gone?" And I was like, sure, why not, right? Like 2 or 3 weeks, I could do that. So I started doing that, and I just started seeing ways where this thing could be better, you know? And I stuck around when he came back, and patting myself on the back. But I took it from sort of like in this place where it wasn't necessarily at its best to like the numbers got up. We had some of the best challenges we've had in a while. We moved from the Pyramid to Bowery Electric. We were rocking downstairs at Bowery Electric. We had like African before the controversy. We had African Bambaataa rock. We had Big Pun Sun rock. We had Nitty Scott rock. Homeboy Sandman came and rocked again, and it was like it took it to a really high place. But then the pandemic happened. So, but yeah, so I ended up sort of like working with it out of this sort of want to fix it, you know, out of this want to like build it from where it was to something better.
I was paying attention, but I was just thinking about the thrill it was when we found out we were wearing similar clothes. So I went and changed my undershirt to
That
make
was
it
a quick
more-
change.
Yeah.
That was Clark Kent into Superman.
My clothes
like,
are right on the other
quickness.
side of this thing. Yeah.
I almost want to go get a beanie now.
Go for it. Oh, hey, this is the guy calling me back. All right. I'll.
Oh, cool. Let's hear it.
Put him
Sean
put him
is
on
going to-
speaker. I don't
he's
even know what
calling
this is
someone.
about.
Sean had called someone because he got a message from someone else. No, wait.
He's going to tell him something about. He's going to tell this person who's calling how great their child is.
Oh.
It's a stranger. It's something that we're trying to do now, where we'll call up a stranger and let them know how much we appreciate their son or child or daughter.
Why their child?
Because it probably feels really good to hear that you did a good job on your kid. It's a hard job.
What if it just turns into him telling him? What if it just turns into him telling him how much better his son is than he is?
Oh shit.
Sean's a pretty good guy. Sean's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, Sean's
We'll
gonna
see.
be.
Well, we're gonna find out. The last conversation went well. This is only the second one.
This conversation looks like it's going well.
So people,
Could be
on
going
our
badly.
website, Baxter, people can pay us to call someone, and basically we'll give them a really good,
Review.
You guys
give
are
them a
like
scathing review. Yeah,
you guys are
very
like recommendations. So if I'm applying for a job, I just put that number down and I tell you guys, and I'm like, yo,
yes,
we'll
we're
do that.
We're like personal Yelps. We're
Right,
like
right,
personal
right.
Yelp reviews. Yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
What if they don't pay? Then you do
No, then they're a piece of shit. They could all suck a dick.
like,
They all go straight to hell.
your son is the worst.
Garbage people.
His
Garbage
checks
people.
bounce. That's fantastic.
Gosh, I'm trying to formulate a question. I want to ask a question about like what's something you've learned either about. Were you somebody who hosted things and like did a lot of public speaking before you were? You were rapping in front of people.
Yes and no. Yes. I've hosted like a great many things, and I don't know why that ever started, but I'm an Aquarius and I like attention, so put me in front of a microphone and I'm fine. But
You're
I've
a
definitely
very natural host. Like I remember the few times I saw you, I think just with Dale.
Yeah, the Poet Will Be Televised, which is also
and I did go to EO Dub probably like 4 years ago with Mandela. I think the time Homeboy Sandman was there, one of the times, and but I think I remember each time like, man, this guy's great at hosting.
Yeah, I learned a lot of things hosting EO Dub. One is don't ever wait for the crowd. That's a lot of shows that like start late is because people are waiting for the crowd. Especially if you do like a weekly or a monthly show, because what happens is they'll adjust.
You're teaching them to come late.
Right. They'll adjust to whatever's happening. So if they know the show comes late, then they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to get there when it starts. I'll get there when like later on, because that's when the show starts. But if you consistently start your show on time, people will show up on time because they want to, be a part of the thing. That and never admit that something is going wrong on stage. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like if the crowd never knows that, unless the crowd never knows something's going wrong until the host acknowledges it. Because anything could be part of the show, like if a light fixture falls down in the middle of a show, that could be part of the show if you play it off that way. But I see so many artists that are doing way better than they think they're doing, but they keep pointing it out. So it's just like it looks bad. They're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Comics do that all the time. They'll say something like, oh, you guys hate me.
Right,
and
right.
The audience didn't know that they hated him until you said it. And they're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what's going on right now.
Or even
suck, and I hate this.
Even them hating you could be part of the act if you flip it.
Exactly, that's what you have to do.
Right,
that's what you just shut your mouth, let it keep going, and then lean into it.
Because the moment you give up is like the moment that the crowd is like, oh, okay, yeah, this is going, this isn't working.
You sold out. You sold out.
Right.
This is fascinating because, like, for me, everything you're saying, and I know Lex hosts a lot of comedy and does a lot of comedy. Like everything you're saying, I'm like, it's like no one really told me any of these things, but I have these exact same rules, like verbatim, I have in my head. And it's like, it's funny how doing that job teaches you. I hosted karaoke I've hosted tons of things too, but the biggest thing I did was I hosted karaoke like 7 years. And those rules are the exact when you start, never say you're doing bad because the audience doesn't know, and the audience doesn't know anything. The audience is taking their cue from you.
They only know what you tell them.
Yes.
Stupid babies. No.
That's an air of professionability. It's an air of profession. You're lowering the bar. When you're also lowering the bar of what quality you're giving out too. Oh, I already lost you. You sold out. Right. You gave out.
And it's like it's the show must go on thing. It's like until you're off that stage, like it's all part of the show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why Andy Kaufman gets to do what he does, because they never really knew when he was like fucking with them. Right. Wyclef tells a story about Beyonce back when she was with Destiny's Child and they were on tour with the Fugees or some shit like that. He was like, when the Fugees would perform, Beyonce would be like off to the side, just watching their performance.
Brian Kim is here. Should we let Brian Kim in?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Sure.
Brian Kim?
Yeah. Wonder if Brian Kim is hosting anything. I don't know who Brian Kim is.
Me neither, but I'm looking forward to
Oh,
meeting.
keep going though. As we're letting him in.
The
Keep
point of the story
going.
is that like Wyclef was like he knew Beyonce was gonna be great because she was taking it all in, like, you know, and like what Precious is saying, like no one ever told you these things, but if you want to be a great performer, like you kind of figure these things out. You watch other
Watch
people.
and learn. Watch
Right.
and learn. Yeah.
Exactly. You learn what to do, and you also learn what not to do by watching a lot of people. That's another. Like,
Yep.
like you said, Precious. I've hosted an open mic for years. I've seen so many performances. I've seen some of the best performances I've ever seen, and also some of like the worst. And there's like, also, that is, if you're going to be a performer, you either want to be the best or the worst. Like both those. both,
talk about that.
Memorable.
both
gotta
those
be
things
memorable.
are right. Both those things are equally impressive. But what you never want to be is like the middle. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be milk toast. Hey, Brian Kim.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Oh,
It's going.
I'm hungover,
We got that-
man.
you're hungover?
Hungover?
Yeah, I just honestly, I just woke up and now I'm hungover. You guys ever been hungover before?
No.
Yeah.
Explain it to me. What does it feel like?
I just want
Yeah, tell
to
us.
die, dude.
Don't do that.
What's
No,
the
no,
most
this-
what's the
I-
most
I-
annoying thing right now? Is it your head? You got a headache? Or what are you feeling?
Yeah, you know what's the worst thing about a hangover? Doing a online open mic during it.
That's what's happening.
This ain't
Listening
an
to
open
your-
mic.
That
man.
sounds like the best thing
Listening
about a
to your
hangover.
dumb jokes.
Oh shit!
That sounds like the best thing about a hangover. You know what sounds like the worst thing about a hangover? The hangover.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I have a little bit of a well. The thing is, I haven't had a hangover in a long time. It's been, and I'm an alcoholic. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, oh
Yeah.
me. All right.
You're back off it. Back off the wagon.
It's a great reminder. It's like, oh yeah, you're really good at this. It's like, but yesterday what did I drink? I drank a bunch of stuff.
That's usually how a hangover happens.
Yeah. The thing about it is, I did a live open mic. You guys heard about those?
Yes.
A live open mic?
A live open mic, dog.
Where?
In person?
That's what live open mic means.
The people were alive.
It was a live Zoom open mic.
Live Zoom.
No. It was so I'm visiting my folks out in LA, and like in New York, I'm part of all the Facebook groups or whatever and everything, but in New York or in LA, I don't know anybody, but my friend told me about this one mic, and I went. I was like, oh yeah, drink time, and then so that's what it was.
Wow.
Baxter Words. Is your last name really Words, or is that like a stage name?
Both.
Oh wow.
So I'll put it to you like this. It wasn't the name I was born with, but sometime in my life I decided that it was my name, and literally every aspect of my life, this is the name that I go by.
Did you legally change it?
No, if the government shows up, then it's something else. But if like at my job, in my personal life,
no, then that's not your real name, dog.
How do you feel that? Because does the government decide what my name is, or do I decide what my name is?
Oh, you know what? That's a very true. But then if you decide it, don't you have to like go to the government and be like, "Yo, this is my name"?
Eventually, it's on the list of things to do. I'm just not I'm not on their time. I'm on my time. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I wish I had your freedom. See, me, I'm on everyone else's time. Like even this time, I had to fucking join. Because it was on that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything like that.
We'll try
you
it.
guys already do your jokes or whatever?
Is
that why everyone is frowning?
Chilling. We're just talking. We're talking about we're talking about scenes, entering a scene and finding your place in a scene. How did you?
Yeah.
Where are you at? Where are you at in terms of the New York comedy scene, and where did you start? You say you've been part of all this stuff, but before you were part of like the Facebook groups and all the open mics, what was it like when you were just walking in to try to do comedy?
So I started in LA. I started in Los Angeles, and then and then I got a DUI, and I was like, oh shit, I better go to New York. You know what I mean? Because you can't really do much without a car in LA. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
So I've always wanted to live in New York, but it kind of sped up the process, right? And so when I first came to New York, I was just doing a bunch of open mics and like you gotta kind of like
Brian Kim.
Oh, Anya, how are you?
Hi.
I was in a improv group with Anya.
Yeah, it was the best.
And then I had to quit because I felt myself getting like not as funny. You know what I
mean? Why were
coaching us?
Oh no, Sean's on the phone call.
I'm just joking. That was mostly Sean. Not Anya. No. So anyway, I came to New York, and then I started doing the open mics, and you just get started with open mics and stuff, and I did that for years. And after a while, I realized it's time to graduate. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so, like in New York, no one just gives you stage time. It was like, oh yeah, here, take some stage time.
No one gives you anything.
No one does that. Like, oh, you want stage time? Here's 10. No one does that. So in New York, it's like if you want stage time, what I realized, like before, I was so naive. I was like, oh man, if you're the funniest guy or whatever, if you can make everybody laugh all the time, you're gonna get all the 10 of the stage time. But it's not like that.
Nah.
So what I realized is if you want to get on stage, you have to give something in return. So what I ended up doing was at Broadway Comedy Club, they had this internship program where if you intern for 8 hours, you get 3 minutes of stage time. You know what I'm talking about? So anyway, I started interning there, and there's some it was total bullshit. Some people would do the 8 hours. I managed to get a good internship job, where I had to just answer the phones. And some people
you didn't have to clean their toilets. You didn't have to clean the toilets or the urinal or anything.
No, someone else was licking the toilets, and then
that job was taken.
Those 3 minutes. Those 3 minutes are important, man.
No, he just liked doing it. The stage time was just a bonus. But anyway, so I was answering phones for a bit, and they would give me 3 or 5 minutes or whatever, and then I did that for a few months. But what happened was one of the managers, she was stealing money from the club,
That's a problem.
And then they kicked her out, and they were like, "Oh, you're a Korean, you seem trustworthy." And also they made me a manager so I could start stealing money. You know what I mean? So I was doing that and doing comedy. So it was so anyway,
you got your
I
foot in
was
the door.
stealing money, but they hired me as a manager. I have no idea why, because I'm not even a good manager, but that's how I kind of started getting
Brian,
yeah,
I would listen to you if you told me what to do.
If I
try it. Try it out right now.
But Sean,
you missed the part. You missed the part where he started this conversation with a hangover.
That's listen to me. They all moved back to Wisconsin.
Oh.
Unless you want to, dude. But there's no real even me, right? I just realized if I really want quality stage time, I gotta give something other than my comedy as a valuable commodity, because in New York everyone is really fucking funny, everyone is really good. Besides everyone in this room,
I was in the same situation as you. I was realizing the same situation as you, Brian. Instead of giving up anything, I just moved to Thailand. I pushed out on the New York scene and moved to Thailand.
Boners are important too. Boners are important too.
Brian,
I heard actually there's a pretty good scene in Thailand. Is that
it's
true?
growing?
Yeah,
it is, and it's talking about a scene. We were talking about that before. It's interesting because I find myself watching the birth of a new scene. And it's really dope. I'm really kind of glad I'm here.
Yeah. So that's a good strategy too. If you're not funny in New York, go to a place where people are less.
That is
exactly what I did. I didn't even have to get funnier. I didn't even have to get funnier. I'm not funnier. I'm not even working hard. It's horrible.
Exactly. You just go to you should just start a scene over there. I know some people that went to like Korea and like China
Yep.
or whatever, And
There's scenes in all of them. I'm in touch. Yeah, and
Maybe-
like once the world opens up, I'm already mapping out my plan to get there.
Maybe
But
an
yeah,
end
there's
of,
a dope scene.
maybe an end of the week open mic.
Yeah.
yeah,
Nobody can rhyme here though.
What?
Like,
I know people who there's a scene there isn't an end of the week, but there is a hip hop scene in Vietnam.
a hip hop scene in
Yeah.
Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
There's
that
actually,
sounds,
and
that sounds like a talented bunch of people.
There is a hip hop scene. There's an underground hip hop scene because this is weird. I had to be a teacher for a hot minute, and I took a substitution job. And one of the kids that I was teaching is a legit rapper from Thailand, Lil
Yeah.
Gigi, and she got hits on YouTube, and she's cool with the biggest rapper here is named Young Ohm. He's pretty dope actually, but I don't know. I just know what.
There's a hip hop scene
You look
everywhere.
like a rapper in Thailand.
Yeah, of course. There's a hip hop scene everywhere, but it was weird to get in touch with, like, to even just
Mhm.
see that little underground world,
That's why End of the Week has sort of been so successful outside of America. It's because everywhere else, like the hip hop scene, is still sort of in that. Not everywhere else, but a lot of places, is still sort of in that underground counterculture kind of like place.
Truth
And
to
people-
power. It's truth to power.
Right. So people in those other countries love hip hop. They like live it and soak in it. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, I don't know if you guys seen this video. If you guys haven't, you guys should watch it. There's like a video on YouTube. You guys know Ralphie May, the big fat
Yeah.
dude.
Mhm.
He did like I was listening to his. So he did like a master class on stand up. So good.
What he was
And,
talking about?
Great. It's great.
Yeah, if you just YouTube it, it's like an hour and it's like a 2 hour. You can just YouTube
Yeah,
it right now.
Comedy
It's
Store.
right there. Like Ralphie May, he does like a master class on stand up. So good. But
I gotta watch
he
that.
says and it's probably the same with like hip hop too. But like everywhere else in the world, like comedy is like 15 years, 20 years behind. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like so yesterday, even in LA, I was doing like I did these jokes, I did these pedophile jokes, which in New York they do so good, right? Like the joke is like the joke was like how I was a teacher, right? Before the pandemic, I was like teaching kids, right? Like a kindergarten I was a kindergarten teacher, and the joke is like how these kids grow up so fast, like they're like 5 years old, but some of the words that come out of these kids' mouth, like, because one time I was like teaching the class, and one kid, he yelled out penis, and then I realized, oh, I better put it away. You know what I mean? That was a joke. That was a joke.
New York has such a sophisticated stance on
A sophisticated
pedophiles.
palate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Especially
Their
those
palate,
kids.
exactly, their palate. Yep.
But I don't know like none of the LA people laughed at it. Maybe because they had to suck a lot of dicks or whatever.
Right. They're like this is not funny.
This is too real.
Right.
I think I know what it is. This is just a theory, but LA is so industry focused, and so they know that won't sell.
Can't do that.
the pedophile stuff is too real.
It just won't sell. It's like it won't sell to the rest of the country. I think that's
right.
where it is.
Like you can't just like go up on you just can't like get an HBO special and be like, oh yeah, like oh that.
There's no value to it to the rest of the country, and I think LA knows that. That's just
and
the theory.
in New York, a good pedophile joke is just like a fucking.
So, guys, real quick, I got off of that phone call that lasted quite a long time, and it was my friend John's dad, my friend Johnny's dad, John, and he immediately launched into a bunch of like just funny stories about his son.
Gosh, oh, that's great.
And I think we have a future guest because he does a mosaic arts project for the purpose of like emotional healing, like make art as a way to heal.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Interesting. That's right up our alley. Fantastic.
Yeah. So he'll be on the
And
show
not like
at some
everyone
point.
else.
Yeah.
Bax, I want to make sure you get in plug where everybody can find you, and I want you to talk about the scholarship if you would like.
Oh, definitely. Thanks for bringing that up. Anyone can find me at That Ninja Words. That's where I'm at every single place on the internet. And if you are a hip hop artist, if you're a producer, a DJ, or a MC, there's an organization called the Versus Project that's linked to EOW that is giving away $1,000 scholarship to anybody who's working on a project in those fields. There's 3 scholarships, each for $1,000. You can apply. Just go to eodub.com. That's EODUB. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. I should have done this ahead of time.
You're just giving $1,000 to people?
Yeah, if you are an MC, producer, or a DJ and you're working on a project and if you think $1,000 would help, you apply. There's like steps to the application. But yeah, if they choose you, you get $1,000.
Then I better go work on my song real quick.
Listen, man.
What's your handle again? That Ninja Words.
That Ninja
Put
Words.
it on the chat.
But the Z is the S is a Z because it's hip-hop.
Got it. All right. Yeah, I'll throw it up in there.
So you guys already worked on your jokes or whatever?
No.
Oh, we're not doing. But this isn't an open mic. This is a conversation.
Live show.
Oh, this is
the actual Stoner Morning
this
Show.
is regular room.
Yeah.
Stoner Morning Show. Stoner Morning Show presents an open mic, but this is the actual Stoner Morning Show.
Brian, are you here by accident?
Yeah. I was trying to work on my jokes. You know what I mean? Well, see you later. I'm just kidding. No, you guys are great. Yo, I miss comedy, man. I haven't done comedy in like a long time. So yesterday, I hit up
thanks for being here.
LA,
Yeah.
and we did a garage open mic, man. It was
what was the funniest joke you heard last night?
mine.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
No. Well, the thing about it is, like, the reason why I started doing it was because, I was on this person booked me on a Zoom show, and I was like, all right, I'll do it, and then I did it, but like I was stumbling, like even my closer, I didn't get all my punchlines in. It was just like, it wasn't smooth, So I was like, I gotta do something because I didn't like doing Zoom shows, you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, it's not the real thing, you know. Yeah. And then, but after a while, I just couldn't. I just had
not
to
do it.
Get it out,
Yeah.
And then I wrote some new stuff, and I wanted to try it out or whatever, and then I've been listening to a lot of Norm Macdonald.
On what? Where?
Yo, if you just YouTube Norm Macdonald, there's a clip. It says 3 hours of Norm Macdonald.
Yeah,
I've listened to it multiple times.
So I've listened to everything that there is.
I love that guy, man, and I can and you know how if you watch someone for a long time, just straight, you just kind of. You just kind of get their cadence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The timing of it all.
Tell the folks at home what a cadence is.
Who are the folks at home, Ralph? Everyone in here?
Nobody's just us.
Yeah.
That's a great Norm line, though. That's the line that he likes.
People are watching.
Are people comedians? I know you guys are a rapper like Baxter. You're a rapper and a hip hop.
I comedy at times as well.
Oh shit,
Brian, have you ever rhymed?
You think you're better than me? I'm a rapper. I'm an MC.
I'm giving away money.
I'm not giving away anybody.
Well,
yeah, Brian's sitting here with a hangover and the sniffles.
Yeah, for real. Exactly.
No, but you also did an open mic last night. That's more than I've done in the last 48 hours.
Oh man, and I heard there's a in-person open mic today too. So man, well, this is the thing, right? In LA, I haven't done comedy in LA for 7 or 8 years. So when they see me, I'm the new guy, but I'm doing all of my heavy hitters, and they're like, wow, what a funny person, you know. And they consider everyone else
Good.
losers, you know.
Fresh faced ones. You're a fresh faced ones, man. Use it.
Yeah.
Shine.
No,
Shine
well,
bright
that's
like a
the thing.
diamond.
Like I'm taking it. I'm seeing it as an opportunity to do a show, right?
Yeah.
So
Do it.
anyway.
Honestly, actually, I remember when I was in LA, I met Nick Thune, who had just moved down from, I think he was from Portland area.
Yeah,
And he
the
stayed
name
up there
sounds
for,
familiar.
yeah, he was doing some UCB shit, but he's a stand-up.
Not
And he's done a
anymore.
special. He plays a guitar, yeah. He plays a guitar. But I talked to him and I asked him why he was up in Portland for so long. Because he's so funny. It's like, why were you staying there? He's like, because you could only be a fresh face once. And he was using that strategically to like sit on it and then move, you know, and get good before he really made a push, you know?
Hey, look, my best friend joined. iPhone.
Hey, Brian. Brian, since you're here on accident, since you thought you were coming to the open mic show, which is Mondays, but you're on the actual show, which is now, can you thank Baxter for being here and introduce our next guest?
Hey, Baxter, thanks for being here. And here's your next guest.
Professional.
Well, his name is Noah.
Thanks for having me.
We love you, Bax.
Thanks
you,
again.
Baxter.
Nice meeting you. Good conversation, man.
Yeah,
Later,
yeah.
Baxter.
Good work, Brian.
Baxter says bye like me. Bye.
Bye. Love you. Bye.
So,
Where's Noah?
This is I just hopped on the show right now.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's not Noah. That's me. Is Noah in there?
Oh, I don't know. It says Noah joining.
Oh, so he's probably joining.
But there's
See
two
what
of you.
happened.
There's an iPhone and then there's a Ralph Jean Pierre.
Yeah, there's two of me. Noah. No,
There's
I'm the iPhone.
of you.
Oh,
There's
He said he's clicking the link.
okay. Hey, Brian.
like so you guys are streaming the show on Twitch or what?
Hold on a sec.
All of them. All of them.
Please.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't mean to. I like how you let me in,
See if I
Sean.
can find Noah.
Dude,
Yo,
I like how
What's
you
up,
let me in.
Well,
Oh,
I thought Ralph booked you today. I was like, oh, Ralph booked Brian Kim, but I guess
No,
you guys don't
nobody
know each
ever
other.
books me.
Yeah. All right.
Hey,
Well,
Noah.
I booked
Hey, man.
Noah.
what's up?
Give it up for your next
Going on.
comic, the wonderful, the hilarious Noah.
Noah's a poet.
The
Hilarious.
sentimental, the emotional Noah.
Yeah.
Noah, do you ever write
I've
any
got
funny?
some jokes.
Do you ever write any funny poems? Oh, jokes are great too.
Yeah, no, I don't really write funny poems. No.
Let me do the spoken word about funny stuff.
Are you about to go in, Brian?
No. I'm about to go get some water.
Oh
Do you
shit!
think, Noah,
I thought you were
Jack
about
and
to.
Jill went up the hill, each with a buck and a quarter.
Noah, maybe you can work on some funny poems as just a challenge, just for yourself.
Yeah, I'm down. I mean, I've written some comedy stuff, scripts and stuff, so
Oh.
I'm into it. It's just usually poetry. I don't really make it funny usually, I guess. But yeah, it could be.
Noah's got an album that's coming out today. That's called what is
Yesterday.
it? Oh, yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's out.
He wrote a book of poetry that came out like maybe a year and a half ago.
Yep.
Called Saturday Night Sage, a book of like psychedelic beat poetry. And then since he's also a musician, he and his musician friends turned that into a rock album. So it's spoken word over rock and roll. What's the name of the album, Noah?
Called Sounds from the Shadow Factory.
And what's your website?
It's just noahcleakus.com.
I'll post it for everyone.
Noah, I
Just with the K, right?
What?
Lucas with a K.
Leakus, Lekas.
Okay, that's right. Okay, I remember it's different than what I thought it was. Okay.
Oh.
I don't know if I don't know if I've ever talked about this on here, but I used to go to. You guys remember the Trash Bar in Williamsburg?
Sure.
Yeah, I used to go to church there, and Noah used to lead the worship there, and he would play Bob Dylan songs.
Oh, I've been to that church once, or that service once. I think.
Really?
Yeah, you took me there.
Oh yeah. Was it when I had to do improv?
No, I think it was. I think that was a separate occasion or something.
Whoa.
Because I was there on a Sunday.
It might have been for I Know This Much Is True, maybe.
Yeah. You had two different artists talk about two different things or something.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, how are you feeling? How are you feeling on? Oh, what is that?
That just totally petered out, Ralph. That was great.
I just petered out. I just want to know how you feeling on the eve of the release. I'm like excited to hear what's happening with the record.
Oh, I'm feeling good about it. I mean, it's out, so all the work's done, which is nice. So now I just get to say it's something that I did and move forward, which is fun. You know, it's been
any
the
chance
book and the.
We could hear a sample?
Oh, I'll find one. Noah sent me.
Oh yeah.
Noah,
Yeah,
do you think
I
it's
can send you a
harder?
link.
Do you think it's harder to become a successful comedian or a successful poet? What do you think is harder?
Well, I mean, culturally, right now, I would say poetry, because comedy is having a pretty good run the last couple of years, where more people are getting out and there's more shows and things going on that to be involved in. I mean, the kind of poetry I write isn't really about being successful. Like, there's no aspirations of, pulling a paycheck from poetry. So it's kind of a different thing. It's just like an art project. I mean, so in that sense, I mean, success is pretty different than for comedy. But I mean, with the rise of like podcasts and stand-up being like, it's really having a good couple of years, I would think that would be a better bet. But you still gotta be good.
That's very interesting.
Go ahead.
That you mentioned
Go ahead,
that because no, go ahead, Lex.
No, that's all right. I want to hear what you said.
Well, what I was saying was it's interesting how you're like, comedy is, having the thing like did poetry ever have like a thing,
A cool scene.
Yeah.
The beatniks.
The 70s, yeah. Beat poetry.
Probably like from like the year 1000 up until like 1700.
from 1000 to like 2000, it was cool.
Like, have you ever heard of a book called The Odyssey or The Iliad?
Oh, I have. Yeah.
It was all the
poems.
rage there for a minute. Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, it goes in waves like everything, but I just don't think the purpose of poetry is,
To
I
get
just don't think it's the
pussy.
same thing. It's not entertainment in the same way. It's, it's just a different thing. It's like if you're a free jazz musician, like you're not thinking about becoming a Billboard, top 10 artist. It's just
Do they have like poetry, like people that like tour with like poetry, and like are there like I don't know. It's like and I'm not like ragging on it. I'm not ragging on it.
Well,
but-
I don't care if you do. It's all right.
Also, real quick, Noah, Brian is the only person who prepared questions for you.
This is an open mic.
Yeah, that's all right.
No. It's just like like how some people are like, oh yeah, let's go to this comedy show. We're gonna have such a blast.
You never, Brian. You think about it. You've probably gone to like an open mic where they have it. It's a mixed open mic where they have spoken word and poetry.
Yeah, but if I knew, I wouldn't have gone.
I know.
For real though, I mean,
but they went
real
there
talk
on
though.
purpose.
Like,
I'm just kidding.
I don't
by the way.
perform poetry. Like, real talk. Like, I'm not interested in that at all. I mean, if you guys think back to like, I think we're all in the same general age range, judging by the photos.
Except Sean.
Except Sean.
Yeah.
Like if you remember, like the
Nobody
MTV
believes I'm 55, but that's only because I'm a bad liar.
I believe you.
But no, but like the MTV Raps era, MTV, like there was slam poetry, there was all kinds of stuff happening. That the dude from Cosby Show got into spoken word. It's like, so I mean, there's been moments, and spoken word stuff has really become hip hop minus music in a lot of ways. Right. And it's beautiful. There's great. I mean, like the inauguration, that was amazing. That was super cool.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm doing. I just made an art project with my friends, and then I don't perform. Like, I have no interest in that.
I'll beg to differ now, Noah, about your performing, because I think you're okay. I'm gonna play a little bit of this track for you, for the first track off of Shadow Factory.
Yeah.
I rode in from Maya, able to roll a cigarette in one hand. Stumbling without form or substance, I crossed utopian plains.
Nobody know it?
Lonesome as eternity.
Oh wait, you just can hear it?
No, I can hear it, but that's no. This is Noah, right?
Yeah.
The sage and the sojourner, I rode hard through all superficial phenomena and experience. I rode hard with hunger in my belly and fat fucking pride. I swung like Bolero into the apparition of appropriation, paying my respects to the specter and shaman. I laid my dry bones on the ledge of the well with a handful of pennies still in my grasp.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
I love the way you read, Noah. It feels like it makes the
Noah. How'd that project come together? Was that something then? Like what inspired you to put that together? Was the music already written? Did they write that music after listening to your words? Did you like how involved were you with making the music?
Yeah, on that track, Dan, who runs Blind Owl Records, he also plays in the band that did that track. So he pulled the music, and he was kind of just like, "Hey, I've got this jam session recording that I think would work good for this poem." And so he just kind of sent it over to me, and I recorded the reading at home, and then sent it back over, and he did all the production and stuff. So really that track it's really Dan's work. But the band is a great band, and they have hours and hours of awesome recordings. So, like we had some stuff to pull from, but yeah, it was all Dan really did that one. I just read something, you know what I mean?
No, was there any
Thank
tracks?
you for doing that.
Were there any tracks that you were working on and you like did a few takes and then you tried to do some different things and then you were just like, nah?
Oh yeah.
And then
those didn't come out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How many of those
in a folder?
No, have you ever been
over
in a
the years,
situation?
hundreds?
Oh sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like things don't work all the time. For this project, there was 2 tracks that I was really unhappy with how they turned out.
Sorry, I got to check. No, do you ever have a situation where you're got to do something that like when you were a little kid you were like, man, I might never do this, and then you had this recognition at that point. So Sean used an example would be like opening up a bus door, right?
Yeah, or working a freight elevator.
I think art handling. When I lived in Brooklyn, I got to hang up a Salvador Dali painting in a person's house, and I was like, I never thought I would touch one of those.
Yeah. Did you lick your hand after you touched it?
No, I used hand sanitizer and white gloves.
I carried a bass guitar. No, I carried a regular guitar owned by Paul McCartney from one place to his apartment in a car.
Well, what was the story behind that?
I was a PA on the music video for the Kanye and Rihanna and Paul McCartney song.
Whoa!
4 to 5 seconds. Is that it?
Dude.
5 seconds, yeah.
And the guitar he used in that video, it was put into a case, and it was handed to me, and I had to take it to his place. And I was like, should I open it and touch it? But I was just like, I don't want to fuck with it. This is like too dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It explodes.
Who knows? Who knows?
They have they leave a little tape to make sure that nobody fucks with it.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
I don't know.
I know you.
I think I probably would have thought the same way as you do most times, but now I think I'd open the case and I'd strum it. I go,
yeah.
Ding.
The weird thing about that day was I was hired and I was not told what was going to happen. I was just told I was a PA for something. Yes. And it felt very secretive when I walked in. And at the time I was listening to a lot of Paul McCartney and Wings. Yes. And I was just like, what if Paul McCartney's going to be here? And he was.
No.
You thought that? Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, dude.
Did you get to meet him?
He walked by me. Oh, and I was also sent to the Apple store and I bought an iPhone for Kanye's father.
Ooh.
Yo, Kanye's father works at the iPhone store?
No, it was bought for him. It was a gift.
Oh.
Like Kanye's personal assistant came over to me and was like, Kanye needs to buy an iPhone for his father. It's a birthday gift. We're going to give you this credit card and you need to go to the Apple store.
I can really love the idea that Kanye still makes his dad work. It's like, he's like, sorry, Dad, no freeloading. Get a job at the Apple store.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sean, I want you to enter a rap battle just so you can brag that you bought Kanye's dad an iPhone.
Does he look like his dad?
He wasn't there. It was
for a birthday, right?
Yeah.
No, I want to know, like, since you're, a rock and roller yourself, you've probably, as long as you've been writing, also been playing guitar, playing rock and roll, playing blues. Does that figure into your writing? And then how much did that figure into you putting this record together?
Well, I mean, I didn't play on the record, so it wasn't like super big part of it. But, Ralph, you do a bunch of different genres of stuff too. It's like, I mean, it all feeds into itself, It's like, I think probably comedy is the same way. It's like your love of films play into your stand-up style, or your stand-up plays into your improv, and your improv plays into your writing. Like, they're all just doors to the same room. So I think, like, as artists, we're all just like, we have a room in our head that we're trying to get into, and these are all just different doors in. So I think it all plays a part. But, like, there's this old idea that, like, most writers just write the same book over and over again, just trying to get it right. And so I think, like, with films and stuff too, like, you see it, like if you look at like an Adam Sandler movie, they're all essentially the same movie. He's a bad example because, like, obviously there's some movies that are not the same of his, but
yeah.
You know what I'm saying though? It's like you keep trying to get into that same space, that same room.
You know what my two favorite doors are? Pocket doors. Those doors that slide and go into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then
what?
Pocket doors.
No, they were pocket doors.
Yeah.
Oh, like it goes inside the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it'll slide, but the slide will go into the wall and then you pull it back out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They're here.
It's so funny.
I don't know why I'm not getting it.
Like this. See this?
Yep.
It's a pocket door. It slides into the wall.
Those are great.
Okay.
So that's my first favorite.
Yeah, that's a good door.
That's my first favorite kind of door, and then saloon doors, I think, are my number two.
Like a full door,
I like
or
French
like a
doors.
half door?
What kind of doors, Noah?
Like a full, door, or a half, like an Old West one.
Like a half saloon door. Yeah.
Wait,
I'm a fan
what's
of
up
French
with
doors.
Celador? Isn't that like the most, like, literary, like, right word, or like perfect word or something like that?
Let's talk
Celador?
about it.
What's the word, Jay?
Celador, not literary. It's supposed to be like the most like perfect word or something. I don't know, something like that.
I heard that about serendipity. If I heard what you're talking about, if I think what you're talking about is what I think is what I'm thinking. If you're thinking the thinking that I'm thinking,
Yeah.
then then we're not thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Brian,
Serendipity.
did you prepare anything for this topic?
What, saloon doors?
We're talking about Celadores.
Favorite doors.
You know what? My favorite doors. You know, I like. You know. To be honest,
The back door.
I like the regular door, man. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Tried and true.
No shame.
I'm used to it. You know.
Yeah.
Brian, but are you a left swing or a right swing?
I'm a right swing.
Okay.
Burr. What are you, a maniac?
with confidence.
I think you guys are being really cold and rude and really inhuman. My favorite kind of door is Theodore.
Good job to Ralph for setting that up by making us feel bad.
you know.
That's the best
Ralph
setup for a
had that.
punchline
Ralph
is
had
guilt.
that joke in his pocket for the longest time, and he was just thinking like, "Oh, I wish they talk about doors today."
Hey, pocket
How
door.
many- in Ralph's joke book, he was just going back to the okay, D's, all right,
Ds,
doors, all right,
yeah.
door jokes. Here we go.
Red with a red
Love it.
pen underlining it.
Oh,
Love
and
it.
you know
My
what?
shot.
For third, I'll put on bus door on there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And by the way, I think Theodore is a total dick. You know,
Oh.
is the way to go. Hey, by the way, guys, did you guys watch the Patrice documentary? Or
Not
no?
yet.
Not yet.
Oh my god.
where is it?
Where
It's
can
on
I
Comedy
see
Central. It aired
it?
yesterday.
It aired last night.
Last
Yeah.
night, right. So it's probably on
Oh,
demand or
okay.
something today.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I've been searching for it earlier today. I couldn't find it.
So
wonder if I
good.
could
And then I was and then so I missed it. I missed it. And then right after the documentary, they were playing Elephant in the Room. So fucking good, man. Wow.
One of my favorite albums.
He's great.
What a fucking masterpiece, man.
So the big question, though, guys, Dave Chappelle's last special. What'd you guys
Yeah,
think?
that thing.
Which
I think
one
it was a
it?
commercial for Netflix. That's what I think it was.
Which one? The
For
one
Netflix.
that he did like outdoors about Black Lives Matter, or the
No,
one?
no,
on
the one that
Netflix?
just the one that
The most recent
just
one.
hit about getting his
So,
show
he
rights
did
back
one-
and stuff.
Oh
He-
yeah. That one was really good.
I liked it. I didn't laugh a lot, but I was very.
It wasn't
engaged.
funny. It wasn't funny. He's charismatic. I love Dave Chappelle. I also
Yeah.
think he's the GOAT. But he wasn't. That was a commercial for
His
Netflix.
Well, if
That
you're
it went
ma-
back. And it's awesome that he has the power to do what he did, which is say, "Hey, everybody," he took the power away from Netflix and he got paid for it. But my two thoughts are: one, they didn't stiff him; he dipped out on his contract. But I'm glad that I'd rather him have the money than Comedy Central, But I also recognize he dipped out on his contract. And then secondly, this wasn't funny. It was just it's like a thank you. It's like a thank you for doing what they did, and also maybe you could take it as maybe empowering now that I'm thinking about it. But for him, that was a commercial. That was a commercial for Netflix.
I think it's fully empowered. I think it's really important, like, for young people to see that, like, especially young kids of color, like, if you build up enough equity and power in this country, like, you can make your own ruls. Like,
yeah, your voice matters.
Yeah.
As long as you're following the law, like, and even those you can change. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you're not hurting people, like, you are valuable. You are more valuable than you think. And
Well,
this is how this works.
I love that you're looking at it as a positive spin. It makes me feel that's how I'll try to think about it. But to me, it was a commercial for Netflix.
It also makes me
Until
think that comedy is just like, jokes are just buying attention. You know what I mean? Meaning buying goodwill. Like, the more
Yes.
I make you laugh,
Of
the
course.
more I can share my ideas with you.
Yeah.
One thing that really sticks out to me was like when he was talking about, he was talking about about Harvey Weinstein, And I love that analogy. How, you know, how he was talking about how this monster fucks, right? You know, and he was talking about how the monster eats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sure, the contract on paper, you know, you sign the paper and it's legally binding or whatever, but what they did to him was fucked up, you know, like how he can't use his own likeness or whatever because he's contractually obligated, so he can't create another Dave Chappelle show. You know what I mean? Like, how fucked up is that?
Yeah. Well, we always try to end fun, and it didn't happen this week.
Noah, tell us how we can find you and how we can get the album.
Yeah.
The album is available on Bandcamp, Blind Owl Bandcamp. And then my website is noahclekas.com.
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram. I'm not real active, but I am there. So,
Brian, do you have anything you want to plug before we sign off?
You know, I would plug it, but it would just be doing a disfavor to everybody. You know?
All right.
Brian Kim Comedy. Please, you know, follow
Cool.
me.
Thanks for popping in, Brian.
All right. Yeah.
No, thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks
I
for-
didn't know what I was getting into,
yeah.
but you guys
Obviously.
so much